Team USA is unfair for the 2024 Olympics. The best player of this generation, with the best shooter of all time, with the most unstoppable scorer we've ever seen, along with other all-time greats. Like, who in the hell sanctioned this to happen? They're arguably even better than the Dream Team, and they all just want to go out there and restore Team USA's dominance. The Olympics have got to be a lock, right? Well, as stacked as this Team USA is, it's still very much possible that they crash out. But later, we're gonna see how exactly this Avengers-level threat might fail, and what they're gonna have to do to make sure that they get the job done. In what's starting to become a negative trend, Team USA sent another lackluster team for the FIBA Basketball World Cup last year. Fantastic players, yes, but definitely did not have the transcendent all-time great players that the US has at its disposal. Guys like Ant, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Banchero, all might turn into that, but they're just not there yet. Definitely the most talented group of guys in the World Cup, but the talent gap today between the US and other teams is just not big enough anymore to compensate for that severe lack of chemistry. We saw that discrepancy on full display in a preliminary game against Lithuania. Jonas Valanciunas and company dominated inside. They just could not cope with the size discrepancy. How the hell could they when their starting center is a natural power forward who's more comfortable in the perimeter? I mean, look at those stats.
Brother, what's that, brother?
2.9 rebounds as the team's starting center is diabolical. And the fact that they didn't want to give Walker Kessler big minutes when he's their only natural center in the lineup, it caused them a lot of trouble. They eventually came across an on-fire Germany team, led by FIBA MVP Dennis Schroeder, the epitome of C+ NBA players dominating on the world stage. The US had a lot of trouble with the size of their other players. The Wagner brothers, as well as Daniel Theis and Johannes Voigtman, just overwhelmed the US inside, and eventually got closed out by Schroeder in the clutch.
Schroeder steps back, count it! The Germans have taken a 6-point lead!
There it is.
It gets to Schroeder, he throws it up, and the Germans have done it! They have stunned the United States in the semifinals!
And in the bronze medal game, the US ran into a stacked Canada team, led by MVP candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And despite McCall Bridges' heroics, US still lost the game, courtesy of some signature SGA buckets.
USA knotted at 111. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander comes right out. New 14. Shai, oh, for three!
Canada were just a bit bigger than the US. Not by much, but they did have the best player on the floor that night. And just like that, the US finished with a disappointing 4th place finish. Their second one in a row after the embarrassing 7th place finish in 2019. The world was roasting the men's basketball program. Most prominently, track star Noah Lyles' words about the NBA referring to its champions as world champions became viral once again.
And they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States?
Everyone seemed to be in agreement. After decades of Team USA's dominance in basketball, the rest of the world has finally caught up to them. Europe's team-oriented, defensively sound style is getting more and more effective against Team USA. The talent that they've been sending out just hasn't been enough to compensate for the lack of chemistry. And with the Paris Olympics looming just around the corner, something had to change. Team USA is a far too prestigious, historical program just to lay down its arms and just keep doing what they've been doing, hoping for it to work. Someone had to do something. But what? What do you do when the talent pool just hasn't been good enough? Simple. You send out even more talent. No, scratch that. You send out the greatest and most talented group of players that you can possibly assemble. Here we go. We're at the good part now.
LeBron James, aka Nick Fury, is calling up all the superhero friends to bring the team together. How much truth was there to that? We know that you told us you have interest in playing for that team.
No, I do have a lot of interest in playing in Paris.
Right after the World Cup's somber conclusion, we were getting rumors, some damn exciting rumors, that the NBA's top guys are looking to build the super team of super teams, a team that could be compared to the Avengers. The first man to commit was LeBron James, setting the tone of what this Team USA would look like. Anthony Davis was next, then Steph Curry, and then Kevin Durant. The team was rounded out by Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, Kawhi Leonard, who was replaced by Derek White, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, and of course, their new naturalized player, Joel Embiid. I hope the sheer star power of this Avengers team isn't lost on you because good lord, that's probably the most stacked team any of us have ever seen. We had a feeling that Le GM was cooking up something when he said this.
And we have a lot of great players here in America. So
Have you talked to some of those guys?
we've been in communication.
But this is a straight up anomaly. The only team that can rival this team in terms of star power is probably the 1992 Dream Team. LeBron, after 12 years, returns to the Olympics to lead and restore the Americans' dominance on the world stage and get his third Olympic gold. Steph Curry, making his Olympic debut, his first and probably last time to suit up for the USA in the Games, hoping to help the US to victory since last playing for the team in 2014, before all the rings and MVPs. Kevin Durant is chasing history once again, hoping to eclipse Carmelo Anthony's Olympic gold medal record. After surpassing him in points total in the 2020 Olympics, he'll be hoping to get the team across the finish line once again after captaining and carrying the team in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, and Drew Holiday were also part of that team and are looking to repeat as champs. Drew, in particular, will be a crucial defensive piece that they will need to win it all. Getting his defensive partner in crime, Derek White, as Kawhi's replacement wasn't a bad pick either. Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton, both part of that disappointing 2023 team, are both gunning for redemption after having breakout seasons in the NBA. Lastly, Joel Embiid, with the US struggling to produce all-time great centers recently, here he is, gift-wrapped and ready to play for his adopted country. The team is just ridiculously stacked. All-stars or former all-stars from top to bottom, 16 rings between them, 8 regular season MVPs, 9 finals MVPs. When Kawhi was there anyway. Easily the most stacked the team has been, maybe ever. But basketball is a sport, and anything can happen. Even though Team USA got its best of the best players, there's still the fact that other countries aren't that far off talent-wise. Plus, they have more chemistry. France is the best candidate to take the US down, with Victor Wembanyama headlining the team, alongside guys like Evan Fournier, Rudy Gobert, Nando De Colo, and even Frankie Smokes. Germany's World Cup winning team is also still complete, with FIBA MVP Dennis Schroeder looking for more gold. Serbia will be in the US's bracket with Nikola Jokic returning to the team, and Bogdan just killing other countries whenever he plays for his country. All teams with systems in place and roles drilled into their players. So what does Team USA have to do to make sure they win and restore Team USA's honor? Well, step 1 would be to emphasize the roles on the team, more than simply the offensive talent. They should all know, from the Suns and the Brooklyn Nets, that putting purely offensive scoring players in one lineup isn't a recipe for success. There has to be clear first, second, and third options. There should be a clear point player and facilitator, a floor spacer who will spread the defense, do-it-all wings, a rebounder, an inside bruiser, and a go-to scorer. You know, the classic stuff. We know the positionless thing doesn't work outside NBA competitions. It can't just be one player tries to ISO, then pass to another guy who tries to ISO, yada yada. There has to be distinct roles. For example, LeBron can be the facilitator. Steph is obviously the floor spacer. Drew can be the do-it-all defensive guy, who can also relieve the king in ball-handling duties. JoJo can be the pick setter. He can roll or pop, and KD will of course be the first option in scoring. This is why I put Drew in the starting lineup, above guys like Ant or D-Book, because the team needs his defensive and all-around game, more than Ant or D-Book scoring. Those guys can take on that role off the bench. D-Book can be a floor spacer too. Jason Tatum can take the facilitator role and the defensive guy role, like he did in the finals. AD can be the bruiser, etc. Point is, there has to be established roles in the team. That's the secret to success that Team USA will need to take care of business and not crash out and be the most disappointing sports team in history. These players are all the best of the best. If they're a disorganized mess that can't do anything but isolation basketball, these European teams will give them their marching orders. But remember, these are all literally the best of the best players who are raring to go and fight for the red, white, and blue. Not only do they have far superior talent that past Team USA's, there's also the passion and the desire and the chip on their shoulders from the failures of the past. Not to mention, it'll probably be the last FIBA tournaments of Bron, KD, Curry, and the other vets of this team. They're gonna want to have a grand exit. Coach Steve Kerr is someone who's been able to manage a bunch of star players, who's been able to deal with a ton of egos. And he has the ability to turn this bunch of talent, maybe the greatest pool of basketball talent assembled ever, into one cohesive unit. And when that happens, it's gonna be scary hours for the Olympics. And I guarantee that if everything goes like that, this 2024 Olympics is definitely not ready for the Team USA Avengers.